Hey, how's it going, everybody? Jeff Shackley here, drum instructor with Freeway Music. If you tuned in last week, you'll remember that we discussed the bossa nova, a very popular Brazilian rhythm. That being the case, I felt like this week the logical progression would be to move on to the samba. It's a very similar Brazilian rhythm. This one actually is also heavily influenced by African music and African rhythms. Woo, tripping over my tongue there. So the bossa nova is basically like a slower version of the samba. The building blocks are essentially the same. So you start with your bass drum. Okay, the bass drum pattern is going to be exactly the same, just faster. So we have 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and okay. And then with a lot of samba that I have seen and I have played, you end up keeping time more over on the ride cymbal or something else. You can use the hi-hat, nothing wrong with that. You might end up using it, but there's a lot of ride cymbal involved. So that frees up your hi-hat to be played with your foot. So you can throw in that good old 2 and 4 on your hi-hat. So you have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. All right, so now we go to our right hand. Now, our right hand, there are a lot of different rhythms and patterns and stuff we can play. But for the most basic samba, we'll cover a couple more later. The most basic samba, you can just play quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and slap all three of those limbs together here. All right, and last but not least, we have our handy-dandy left hand. So with this, we have a couple of options. If you want to play a little bit more subdued, you can go ahead and use the cross-stick method, which we've discussed before, including last week. Just in case you don't remember, for a cross-stick, you typically want to flip it upside down and use this fatter, beefier part of the stick so you get a stronger sound. But you take the stick like this, you rest your hand flat on your drum, kind of at an angle out from you, and then you pivot on this little bone right here in your wrist. So you bring the stick up and then bring it down right about on the rim of your drum so you get this nice loud clicking sound. Okay, so you can play that if you want a little bit quieter, more subdued version. Or you can go ahead and be bombastic and have fun and play it on the actual head. Now that rhythm I was just playing there is our main rhythm for the samba, okay? Just like with the bossa nova, we're going to think of this as a 2-bar pattern, okay? And so for the overall pattern, we're going to have 2 downbeats, 3 upbeats, and 2 more downbeats. So if this is my 8th note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, then our accent pattern is going to be 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Okay? Just like so. So on the first measure, we have 1 and 2 and the and of 3 and 4. And then on our second measure, we have the and of 1 and then the downbeats of 3 and 4. Okay? So let's try and put all of these together. We'll do it nice and slow at first, and then I'll speed it up a couple of times so you can hear it at a couple of varying tempos. So you'll notice with that last one, I also took a couple more liberties with the rhythm I was playing on the snare drum, and a little bit with the ride cymbal. I'm about to discuss that as well. And that's just because, you know, with pretty much every music that you play, you want to have a strong rhythm, a strong beat that you hold on to, that the rest of your band can hold on to and follow along with. But when you start to play more improvisational music, you can improv more. So feel free to do that. Now, as far as with the ride cymbal, what I was doing towards the end there, and actually mimicking some of what I was doing on the snare drum, you can do that with more traditional samba music. They would usually have both hands follow the same pattern. So instead of you playing a different thing over here, quarter notes, eighth notes, different combinations of each, you just follow your rhythm of your snare drum. So you can approach it that way as well. You can mix and match the two. You don't have to stick to one strictly throughout the entire song. Have some fun with it. Remember, improvise. Another couple things that you can do, there are patterns, groups of 3 that are really common for the right hand. You can either do 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, or you can follow your foot pattern, which is 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So, let's see if I can do this nice and slow without screwing up like I did the last time and have to do another take because of it. Just remember, just because I show you a video that's a finished product does not mean that I didn't screw up 1,000,000 times in practicing it in the first place, or 500,000 times in recording the video for you guys, because I've got to do it all in one take. So let's see if I can do it this time without having to start over. Woo! Not at all. Woo! That was bad. Let's start with the other one first because I can do that easier. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. See, I told you I could do that one. Now the other one is proof that I still need to practice too. Sometimes I need to get into it a couple times before I slowly get into the rhythm. So remember to always practice until you can just jump into it from the first try. Let's see if I can do it this time. Better, but I can still practice as well, so keep that in mind. So those are a couple of other patterns that you can do. The last one here that I want to show you, this one is a little bit more advanced, and this is just for fun. I wish, for the life of me, I cannot remember what this pattern is called for your right hand, or the traditional South American drum that it is named after that you would play it on. But it's a fun pattern, and I like to play it, so I'm going to show it to you. So the rhythm for this one is going to be 1, 3, and 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, and 1, 3, 4, 1. Now, I like to play that sometimes on the bell of the ride cymbal or on the ride cymbal in general. I just like the rhythm. But it was originally showed to me on the floor tom. Now, for beats 1 of both measures, you actually want to go ahead and dig into the floor tom. Go ahead and push in. Don't push so hard that you break a head or break a stick or hurt yourself and you're not able to recover for the rest of the rhythm. But go ahead and dig in so you deaden the sound some. Then you have 3 and 1. 3 4. 1 3 and 1. 3 4 1. 3 and 1. 3 4 1. Now let's see if I can play this one without screwing up. And the very last option that I like to play, I use this more when I'm playing with brushes as opposed to playing with sticks. Sadly, I do not have my brushes with me right now, or I'd use them. But the other option is just to play straight 8th notes with your sticks on the snare drum, and you just accent the correct pattern. So you'd have like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So if you're playing just alternating singles, you'll have right, right, left, 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 right, right. And then you can also use your hands and move around the drums a little bit. Play some different sounds, some different rhythms. Like so. So there you go. There's your crash course on the samba and a couple of different rhythms, and an embarrassing moment and admission from me that I also need to practice with a metronome, and I need to go back to starting slow. All the things that I preach to you are things that I have done and things that I still need to do. So just remember, until next time, have fun, stay safe, practice with the metronome, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one, guys.